Hello there. Take a breath. We're going to talk about something real today, not something light or fleeting, but something that lives deep in the quiet corners of our hearts. Death. Not as fear, not as darkness, but as wisdom. Because one man, a visionary, a creator, a dreamer, once said something that turned fear into clarity. That man was Steve Jobs, and these are his words, his truths, shared not from a stage of glory, but from the edge of life itself. Let's listen. Death is very likely the single best invention of life. It is life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new. Pause and think about that. Death is a gift, a strange silent one. Not an end, but a process, a clearing, a reset. We often see it as a thief, but Steve saw it as a sculptor. It shapes our lives even when we don't notice. It makes time precious. It makes choices clearer. It forces us to live now, not someday. Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Let that settle in. He didn't say it was fear that guided him, not pressure, not ambition. It was the gentle reminder that time isn't promised. That's what helped him decide what to say yes to, what to let go of, what truly mattered. Because when you realize your story has a final chapter, you begin to choose your words more carefully, your moments more mindfully, your people more intentionally. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Read that again, slower this time. Everything falls away. The fear of being wrong, the need to impress, the weight of what others think. It all disappears when you remember you're not here forever. And what remains? Love, peace, meaning, presence. These are the roots. Everything else is noise. No one has ever escaped it, and that is how it should be, because death is very likely the single best invention of life. There's something almost comforting in that. No one escapes, not kings, not geniuses, not even those who change the world. And that's what makes this life so precious, so temporary, so stunningly beautiful. Not because it lasts forever, but because it doesn't. And once we accept that, really accept it, we are free. Free to live honestly, free to speak our truth, free to stop pretending and finally start being. If you're still here with me, still listening, then you're someone who wants to live with open eyes, and maybe even an open heart. So stay with me, there's more to hear, more to remember, more to feel. Let's keep walking. Together, let's continue. We've heard how Steve Jobs viewed death, not as an enemy, but as a teacher. But the lessons didn't stop there, because when life begins to fade, when the body grows tired, another kind of clarity arrives, one that isn't taught in school, one you can only learn at the edge of your own story. Steve learned it, and he shared it, not with power, but with humility. At this moment, lying on the sickbed and recalling my whole life, I realized that all the recognition and wealth that I took so much pride in have paled and become meaningless in the face of impending death. Let those words wash over you. This wasn't theory, this wasn't philosophy, this was his truth. As he lay there, knowing his time was ending, the houses, the applause, the titles, the fortune, none of it could go with him. None of it could comfort him. Because at the end, it's not what you owned that matters. It's what you gave, what you loved, who you were when no one was watching. We live our whole lives chasing success, chasing approval, chasing more. But when the chase ends, and it always ends, we're left asking, what did I miss while I was running? Did I see the morning light? Did I laugh with the people I love? Did I say what needed to be said? Did I rest when I was tired? Steve asked those questions, and he left the answers behind for us. Whatever stage in life we are at right now, with time we will face the day when the curtain comes down. The curtain always comes down, for every play, every performance, every life. And none of us get to know when. That's what makes every moment sacred, every word important, every act a choice. So ask yourself, are you living a life that will leave a soft echo when you're gone? Because if not, it's not too late to start. There's a strange thing that happens when we get sick. or when we lose someone, or when we feel time speeding up, we begin to see clearly what used to matter doesn't, and what we once ignored suddenly shines. Steve learned that, and he wanted us to know before it was too late. We spend years trying to control everything, our careers, our image, even the people around us. But illness, aging, grief, they strip that illusion away. Suddenly, we remember, we are not here to dominate life. We are here to receive it, to let go, to soften, to be humble. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. And sometimes, it only arrives when we're ready to stop running. So breathe. Sit still for a moment. Ask yourself, what truly matters? If tomorrow doesn't come, what would you say today? Who would you forgive? What would you stop waiting for? Steve gave us the mirror. All we have to do is look. Let's keep walking. We've talked about clarity, about illness, about the weight of what truly matters, but there's still something deeper. A question that lives in all of us, quietly, persistently. What happens when we go? Is there more? Or is this all there is? Steve Jobs, a man of science in Silicon, had his own answer. Not certain, but hopeful. But I like to believe there's an afterlife. I like to believe the accumulated wisdom doesn't just disappear when you die, but somehow it endures. Listen to the softness in that. He didn't claim to know, he didn't argue, he simply believed that all the love we give, all the wisdom we gather, all the quiet strength we build over a lifetime doesn't vanish. It goes somewhere, into memory, into spirit, into the lives of others. Maybe not as light or sound or form, but as something that lasts. And really, isn't that what we all hope for? That what we did here meant something, that we weren't just passing through, that we mattered, not because we were perfect, but because we tried, because we loved, because we changed even a little part of the world. Steve believed that was possible, and so can we. What do we truly leave behind? Not our phones, not our houses, not our wealth. We leave behind moments, a look, a lesson, a laugh that someone still remembers. That's our legacy. All the recognition and wealth that I took so much pride in have paled and become meaningless in the face of impending death. In the end, it wasn't the stage, it wasn't the stock price, it wasn't the brand. It was the realness, the breath, the stillness, the surrender. That's what Steve saw, and that's what he offered us. Not from the height of his empire, but from the edge of eternity. So now, I'll ask you gently, what will your ripple be? What will remain when your curtain falls? Will someone remember your voice, your kindness, the way you showed up even when it was hard? Will someone carry your wisdom forward? Because that is how we never truly die. So here we are, at the end. Steve's words, his truth, his courage, they weren't meant to be just remembered. They were meant to be lived. He showed us that death is not our enemy. It is our mirror, and maybe even our friend. A gentle reminder that time is short and love is everything. So what will you do with today? Will you say what needs to be said? Will you forgive someone? Will you finally breathe again? The curtain hasn't fallen yet. There's still time. Choose well and walk gently. Because somewhere, Steve is whispering, death is very likely the single best invention of life. Live like you believe it. If this video gave you something to think about, something to carry forward, then let it live on, not just in your heart, but in someone else's. Share your reflection below and join us. We walk this road slowly and together. Because in the end, it's not just about living, it's about living well.